All right, Dave, we're live again this week. Again, we're back here with Dave Vesser, Books by DC Vesser. Topics today, there's several. We're going to give you some updates on where Dave's at, what he's doing. Wow, I can't speak today, and where you're going. Dave, do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, sure. That's great. I got a lot of good, exciting news, I think. A lot of things going on. And just a couple of things about the books first, I guess. There, I'm kind of going to give you a general idea of where we are with some of the accomplishments of the books right now. I have in at Page Publishers, which of course Page Publishers in New York, they are editing a book that we're calling More Than Don't Let Them Win. It's actually a rewrite. I had to. Uh, I was told once upon a time that it was just too overwhelming, too much information in there, so I had to kind of go in and point things out along the way, kind of stuff. I don't think everybody would have a problem with that, but the people that did seem to have problems with being overwhelmed, they shouldn't have been. They uh, have known me for a number of years, and that they should have been more in tune, perhaps, than anybody. So I went in and did a complete rewrite of uh, Don't Let Them Win, and we're calling it More Than Don't Let Them Win because there's additional information in there, of course, and it's now been through its second edit, and uh, what I've done is I've accepted the edits or I've rejected the edits, and they're going back through, uh, kind of following my lead on this. I guess doing more of what I'm inclined to have done in my book for me. But once that's done, then that'll take about 2 to 3 weeks to finish that process. I guess. Then we'll go into the page design and layout. Uh, that'll take 2 or 3 weeks perhaps, and then we'll go into cover design uh, for the book itself, and the hardback cover, softback cover, and then it'll go into print, and hopefully around the middle to the end of October, it should be ready for sale on the uh, Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, things like that. Or you can go online at my dcvesser.com and order it from our store there. And the kind of the good thing about that is if you order it from dcvesser.com, that book will come to you directly from me, and I'll sign the book for you. I'll make up something to put in there, or a little, and give a signature at the end of it, or you can tell me exactly what you want your your message to say, and I'll put that in for you as well. And that's particularly nice if you have a friend you want to give it to as a gift. It can be personalized toward that person as well. You can say, sign it to Bob from Ted or whatever, and we can do those things. Uh, Now that is, like I said, hopefully it'll be done around the middle to the end of October. Uh, we'll shoot for that for now. But as things go along and progress with that, I'll keep you up to date on it. Uh, Something new that I wanted to have Hector kind of talk to a little bit about, if you don't mind, Hector. I kind of like, yeah, we got together yesterday afternoon. Hector and I did, and we made a new website, not a website. It's a new email. Send an email directly to me. I'll give you the email address, and I'm going to ask Hector to kind of talk about it a little bit, uh, if you don't mind, Hector.
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No,
Uh, the I mean, the email address itself is Dave, D-A-V-E, at dcvesser.com. So if you send me an email there, uh, it'll get right to me, and I can respond to that email. And Hector, take over, please, if you would, and kind of tell them what it's all about.
sure, absolutely. Just gives obviously those viewers and watchers out there another way to contact you. Your website also updated with the current information as well. So another way to contact Dave when you're submitting your orders. But it's just another way, another way to contact Dave directly, a more professional way to getting hold of Dave. It makes it a little simpler, easier to remember. And with that, we also have where we've also talked about before getting on the show was the one of your other books that's in play is the uh, politically corruption. I'm sorry, political corruption. Wow. You want to talk a little bit about that?
I'll do that. Yeah, thanks, Hector, for that explanation on the uh, email address and introducing my book for me. What I'm working on right now, I have actually a couple of other things going on. Um, we're doing the More Than Don't Let Them Win. Um, while that is in process, I'm working on another book called, I'm going to call it Politically Corrupt, and that's the other PC. And of course, this book will take you through an introduction of what PC is all about. I'm talking specifically about political corruption, but I also talking about the political correctness part of it too, and how the political correctness is running our world. A lot of people out here listening to me right now, perhaps remember an author named George Orwell. Well, back in 1949, George Orwell wrote a book called 1984, and it was kind of a futuristic thing, uh, wherein George Orwell talked about uh, old talk, or rather old speak, new speak, and what it was all about. The old speak is the way your parents, your family, they taught you how to, talk and respect other people and kind of say what you mean to say and don't beat around the bush. But the new speak was more along the lines of what the government wanted to hear and what other people that want to run the government, what they want to hear. They called that new speak because the whole idea was that if I could change the way you speak, then I could also change the way you think. And if I can change the way you think, I can make you think like I want you to think. And so, um, with Newspeak in George Orwell's book, uh, there were no more harsh words because instead of saying somebody's fat, for example, you could say they were skinny, deprived, or something like that, I guess. Anyhow, since there's nothing bad to say about other people in the world, then there's no more bad things in the world, so everybody's happy. Well, that's kind of where we've gone with political correctness, okay, I think. And so I explain that, and I tell you how it's ruining our world and also taking away our uh, amendment rights to guarantee the free speech. Uh, so that's kind of where we're at. We're playing around with political correctness and political corruption, and also putting a lot of thought and effort into particular people, such as uh, George Soros, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren. I'm telling you how they are being politically corrupted. What uh, I'm at the end. I guess I'm going to kind of wrap up with what we need to do to stop these people from doing the things they're doing. But actually, I think it's with criminal intent that they're doing these things. And certainly, you can see uh, the history since Donald Trump has been our president. The people that think liberally, they get away with saying whatever they want to about anybody, in particular our president. And the people that don't agree with their liberal tolerance is, well, they're not intelligent people anymore. They're called dirty names. They're called all kinds of stabbing stigmas, such as white supremacist, racist, or whatever, agnostic, I guess.
Yeah.
It just, I guess I'll quit rambling about it, but
No,
um,
I mean I think you bring up a good point because if you look at what happened recently, and I'm going to throw this out. This is not something that we discussed prior to getting on the show, but and I don't mean to catch you off guard, but it is something that caught my attention just in the last couple of days with the last two mass shootings, the one in Ohio and then the one in Texas here in El Paso. And then immediately, it was all of a sudden it was it was all the hate and the the focus was on Trump and his, race, it just blew my mind how they immediately turned this, sad event into a politically charged way to get at the president. I mean,
Well, that's a very good point you're bringing up, Hector. And I'm glad you brought it up. And no, you didn't really catch me off guard. I've been thinking about that a lot because when our president left Ohio to go to Texas, he was received uh, in El Paso with signs that said "No bienvenidos," and that's like you're not welcome here. I think. Am I correct in saying that, Hector?
yeah, I mean it can be translated that way. It doesn't necessarily translate word for word, but yeah.
And when he arrived in Dayton, Ohio, he was not warmly received there. And of course, after he left, there were some harsh words spoken about. Well, I told the president this, and I told the president that, and I gave him demands. And it all boils down to what news station you choose to look at or listen
Right.
to, or what news source you believe. Of course, the liberal-minded are going to swing more toward things like CNN and MSNBC, perhaps, because they kind of throw out the the dirt that the liberals want to hear. The New York Times, they're nefarious for being uh, politically correct only for the liberal party. Now, if you're interested in uh, conservative news, you might want to start following things like Fox News or The Blaze or follow Tommy Lauren. But even those might be biased more to the right than
Sure.
they should be. Uh, so you kind of have to find something on your own and stick with it. And when you're fact checking, I'll say again, I said this a day or two ago. Uh, don't trust Snopes. They're not our trusted news source that they always were. They're right now in a legal battle. The husband and wife are getting divorced. She sold her part to a media company, and they own half the company now, and they're trying to get the rest of it from the guy that still survives as a 50% partner. So they're not interested in covering news. They're interested in making money, keep afloat, so they can do what they want to do with their Snopes money.
Yeah, it's just a tragic event, and all of a sudden they turn it around and they make it a political event instead of focusing on really what matters, and that's the family of those that lost loved ones in this event. And it's
Absolutely.
just sickening, and I don't understand how these politicians can look themselves in the face and go, "Yeah, I'm going to make this statement and make it politically charged against one individual who has nothing to do with it in the first place." So I think it's just all like you said. It's all about control. Um, the more that people allow politicians to control them, the more dependent they're going to be on them, and the more power they gain. And that's the other thing that I don't understand is how people can see that and go, yeah, this is great. When they're just they're asking for freedom, but essentially they're giving up their freedom hand over fist and not even realizing it. It's just beyond me.
Yeah,
And I
it's a bad situation we're in. But like you say, how can they believe it? Do they want freedom? Well, no, they want free stuff. I
free
think
stuff,
more than
right?
freedom. So you know, as soon as the free stuff runs out, they'll learn it free too late. Then there'll be a hellacious battle to ensue after that. But you know, I feel like we're trying to get back on track, but trying to swing away from what's kind of turning in for me. I don't know about others, but kind of turning into me a kind of a sad conversation. I want to talk about something good for just a couple of minutes here.
Sure.
Tomorrow night, Friday night, the 9th of August, and between 5 and 8 o'clock, I'll be at the Hogshead Cigar Lounge here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And if you don't know where Hogshead is, it's at exactly at 9849 Jefferson Davis Highway, and there is Suite 106. What we'll be doing there tomorrow night, maybe you can elaborate a little bit on this, Hector, if you would.
Will do.
But Mitch Patel from the Rocky Patel cigar company. He'll be there to introduce himself to people, and we'll have a chance to meet one another. Perhaps if you show up down there, and we'll have a good time and maybe have a rocky tail or together. So, can you elaborate on that, Hector?
Sure, absolutely. I'm actually pulling up the site here so that way I can give out the event details. So if you haven't been over to Hogs Head, fantastic place, great people, great cigar selection, and Bob is fantastic. I mean, he knows his stuff. Bob knows cigars. He knows the stories behind it. He knows the industry, which is always perfect. So if you haven't been out there, absolutely a good time to get out and meet Bob, hang out at Hogshead, excuse me, and also get to sit down with Dave here and do a little chit chat. Um, I'm trying to pull up the details. I know it's Rocky Patel event that they're having, and this is tomorrow night. And I believe it's normally they're normally here. Let me pull it up. Again, I'm pulling all this stuff off their Facebook as well, so you can just easily go to Facebook, look up Hogshead Cigar Lounge, and and check out what they've got. All right, let me see. August 9th, Friday, August 9th, from looks like he's got it from 6, or excuse me, 5 to 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, down at Hogshead Cigar Lounge off of Jefferson Davis Highway. You get to definitely meet Nish Patel. And then second, importantly, is that you get to meet Dave Vesser, the man, the author behind Books by DC Vesser. And hopefully, maybe Dave will take a couple of books so he can sign them for you if you want to purchase one off of him.
Well, certainly, good idea.
Yeah, good idea, right? So, and if you can't make it out to see Dave, definitely check out his website, dcvesser.com. Easy to remember. If you want to email him, it's Dave at dcvesser. But we also ask that you like and share and subscribe to his YouTube channel. So as we come on these shows weekly, I think we've decided that Wednesdays at 4:30 is when
Yes,
our
sir.
show.
Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern Time.
Yeah, Eastern Time. We'll go live and definitely check us out. And if you'd like to interact with Dave, you can send him an email. You can reach him on Facebook, and you can write in the comments below. And I'm sure Dave will be more than happy to reach back out to you. Dave, do you want to close it out?
Well, I got one more thing to say, and then we'll close
Sure.
it out. I kind of slipped by this. I kind of lost it in my other thoughts, I guess, here. But here soon, probably in the first part of October, we're going to start doing a little bit of touring, going out to different expos, different places around. First, our Virginia area here, I think, and then we'll probably start branching out from there. Book signings, stuff like that. Start a little public speaking engagements, and exciting time. But we kind of got to stand up a little bit before we can go out and do that, because as you perhaps can guess, there's a lot that goes into it. Getting stuff together and packing the right bags and make sure you got all the stuff you need to have there.
Absolutely. So again, if you guys want to meet Dave, come out to Hogshead Cigar Lounge tomorrow night during their event and meet Nish Patel as well. Get out and see Bob himself, and we'll see you guys here next week on Books by DC Vesser.
Good stuff. Thanks, Hector.
All right, take it easy.